Hello children, today we shall talk about the forms of power sharing. So my dear children, in our previous videos lectures we learned together the importance of power sharing, the need of power sharing, and we came to the conclusion that power sharing is very important. Why it's very important? If we are not sharing power in the society, there will be conflict between the different social groups, there will be violence in the society, there will be discriminations in the society. That is why power sharing is very important. And in modern democracy, dear children, we understood that if the power is resting in one particular groups or particular individuals, then the decision making process is not going to be effective. So, in order to make the very effective type of government, we need to share the power between the different levels of government. And when the different levels of government are having the distributions of power, during that time we can understand that there will be very efficiency or there will be very effective in ruling the nations as well as ruling the society. So dear children, very briefly I want to draw your attention in Belgium as well as in Sri Lanka. In Belgium, when there was a concept of majority which has been tried by the majority peoples to follow in the society, during that time lot of confusions, lot of conflict happened in Belgium as well as in Sri Lanka, and that is why in Belgium the federal structures of government they adopted and they given equal distributions of power to each and every communities and each and every social groups in the society. So my dear children, that is why the power sharing is very important. If we are not sharing power, there will be conflict in the society. And in my previous videos lectures, I have told you that there is two regions, and because of the two regions, the power sharing is very important. First, the prudential regions, and the second one is the moral regions. In prudential regions, we learn that if we are not sharing power, there will be conflict. And in moral regions, we learn that it is the spirit of democracy, that is why power sharing is very important. So my dear children, in our today's videos lectures, we shall be learning in details the different forms of power sharing. So dear children, in modern democracy, power sharing arrangements can be found in many forms. First, we shall talk about the horizontal distributions of power. And in this horizontal distributions of power, here, what we have to do, we have to share the powers at different organs of the government. They are such as the legislature, the executive, as well as the judiciary. So when the power sharing is happening at different organs of the government, there will be checks and balances. So dear children, it allows the different organs of government, they are placed at different level to exercise the different powers in the society. So here, when the power is given to each and every organs, they are such as the legislatures, the executive, as well as the judiciary. And here, what we understood? We understood that the power is placed at the same level to exercise the different powers in the society. And here, none of the organs of the government can exercise the unlimited power. So each organs of the governments, they used to have checks with each other. They used to have the system of checks and balances. When they used to have the checks and balances, the system or such kind of system is called checks and balances. Here we understood that in these power sharing which are happening at different organs of the government, here none of the organs of the government is exercising unlimited powers. But what is happening here? They are working together. They are having a mutual understanding. So that is the regions, the power sharing which are happening at different organs of the government. And after that, dear children, we see the vertical divisions of power. And before I explain you the vertical divisions of power, I would like to give you an example. So here, the executives who are giving appointment to the judges, and what the judges are doing, the judges are checking the laws as well as the proper functioning of the executive. So my dear children, here we understood that the power sharing is happening properly in modern democracy. So all organs of the government, they are working together in order to achieve success in democracy. Right now we shall look into the vertical divisions of power. And in vertical divisions of power, and what is called the vertical divisions of power here? The powers can be shared at different levels of government. Here, powers can be shared among governments at different level. And how? Because we understood that there is a general government for the entire nations and there is a provincial government. So what kind of structures we are following here? We are following the federal structures here. We see the federal government, and how the federal government is working. There is a general government for the entire nations and there is a provincial government, and which is called as the federal structures of government, and it is known as the central government as well as the state government. So dear children, here the constitutions which is giving or which is laying down the powers of different level of government, and that is why it is called the vertical divisions of power. So here we have talked about the horizontal distributions of power. And in horizontal distributions of power, what we understood, what we learned, and here the government, the different organs of the government, the power distributions are happening. But in vertical divisions of power, we see there is a divisions of power between the central government as well as between the state government. So such kind of structures has been found in Belgium, not in Sri Lanka. In Belgium, the leaders, the political leaders of Belgium, they noticed the social diversity, they adopted the accommodations process, and they made the federal structures of government in which power distributions was happen between different levels of government, between different social groups, and when the power distributions was happen, there was no conflict in Belgium. So dear children, right now we will talk about the community government which happens in Belgium. In Belgium there was a community government, and the community government was having powers to take decisions on the issues related to educations, cultures as well as religions. So here in this community government, each and every communities are given equal powers in the society, and here the powers sharings which are happening among the different social groups. So dear children, each and every communities are given equal power sharing here. As we know that there are some countries who gives the constitutional as well as the legal arrangements to the socially weaker sections. They are such as the women who are getting chances to be the representatives in the legislatures as well as in the process of administration. So here, so what the constitution is talking about? The constitution is talking about giving powers to the socially weaker sections. They are such as the women who are getting the opportunity to become the representatives in the legislatures, and at the same time they are also working actively in the process of administrative work. And when the powers distributions is given to the weaker sections, what it is doing? It is creating a space to the different diverse social groups, different diverse social groups, that they are enjoying equal powers in the society. And if the powers is not given to them, then what will be the outcome? What will be the negative impact? They will feel alienated from the society. They will be having the feelings of separations. They will be having the feelings of discriminations. So dear children, here we understood that when we are giving the equal share of power to the different diverse social groups, we are creating a space for them. And when we are distributing the powers, we are creating equality in the society, and they are also having the equal share of power. So here the minorities are also having the equal share of power. And when the equal share of powers is happening, during that time, the minority communities who are feeling themselves that they are also part of the society, they are also in the process of taking the major decisions in the society. That is why, my dear children, the powers sharing should happen among the different social groups. Though there are majority communities as well as the minority community, each social group should be given equal share of power in the society. And if the equal share of power is not given, there will be conflict, there will be discriminations in the society. So we need to create equal opportunities to each and every social groups in the society. Apart from that, we see the power sharing which are happening at different political parties, different pressure groups as well as the movements. And here in democracy, the citizens must have the freedom to choose the various contenders for powers. So in modern democracy, all social groups are having powers, and here the citizens should be given freedom to choose the different political groups who are contending or who are the contenders for the power here. So here the powers is given to the different political parties. The different political parties are also having power. Different pressure groups, different movements, all these movements, the pressure groups, the political parties, they are given equal powers in the society. So dear children, here what we observe, here we understood that power sharing which are happening at different political parties. In the modern era or in the modern democracy, we see the different political parties, they are coming together, they are forming an alliance, and after forming an alliance, they are contesting in the elections. And after contesting in the elections, what they are doing? They are having equal share of power. So it is called the coalition government. And what is called the coalition government? Because when no single parties get majority seats in the elections, during that time many political parties, they come together, form an alliance, and they have the coalition government by distributing the powers with each other. So dear children, here we understood that power sharing should be happen at different political parties, different pressure groups as well as different movements. So such kind of arrangements are happening in modern democracy. Apart from that, we see the different social groups, the businessmen, the traders, these political leaders, the businessmen, they are also involving in the process of the government. And what they are doing, they are involving or they are participating in the government committees, and they are also influencing in the decision making process. So my dear children, in today's videos lectures, I have explained to you in details about the different forms of power sharing. As we learned that, we learned about the horizontal power sharings, the power sharing which are happening between the different organs of the government, and we have learned about the vertical power sharing. And in the vertical power sharing, there is a federal structures and there is a central government for the entire nations, and there is a provincial government for the local level. So there is a distribution of power between the central government as well as between the state government. Apart from that, we have learned about the community governments, and in the community government, my dear children, I have told you about the power distributions which should be happening between the different kind of social groups, and when the power sharing will happen between the different social groups, each communities will not be feeling alienations, rather than they will also feel they are part of the societies, and if the power sharing is not happening to them, they will feel alienations. And when the power sharing is equally happening to different social groups, they have a fair share of power. And apart from that, I have told you about the different arrangement of power sharings which are happening to different political parties, different pressure groups, as well as two movements. And here we see that in the modern democracy, different political parties, they are coming together, forming an alliance, forming the coalition government, and they are making very successful in democratic society. So here we understood that different political parties, they are not getting majority in the election. So there is a forming of alliance. After forming an alliance, they are equally distributing the power here. And apart from that, different social groups, they are such as merchants, businessmen, as well as the traders, they are also participating in the government committees, and they are also equally influencing the decision making process of the government. So my dear children, thank you so much for listening to me. If you have any doubt, kindly contact me. Thank you so much.